So we are cozy. I will zoom in for us if I can. Hey.
I'd say we're cozy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so first off, I just want to direct your attention that we're really only focusing on one success criteria, but this will include other CSS success criteria. So if you're looking at that objective, that's fine, but this is our main goal, is that we're going to use flexbox floats percentage-based width to show content flowing to a grid. This is going to make it so that if you put a website on a smaller screen, it's going to still look decent.
Okay.
So that's the main goal there. You all hopefully have bookmarked the link that I sent out earlier, CSS tricks. If not, you can do that later. I keep that open all the time because it's just a great reference point. So let me go to learn, and I'm going to just bring this up real quick for you guys. Just kind of talk about what the heck Flexbox even is. If I could find it. All right. So, Flexbox is like a layout system to position your HTML elements. It is going to make it easier to create layouts, basically. Before Flexbox, you might have tried using a table to lay out things the way you wanted to. You might have just tried to force padding on different directions and to make things fall where you want them to. But Flexbox makes it really easy because it's specifying a parent to hold all of the elements, and that parent, using that parent, you can tell the other elements how to act, and then you can also tell the little children elements how to act as well, which is pretty cool. So this cheat sheet that it's referring to right here is the one that I slacked out, the CSS tricks. It's amazing. So what I really want to dig into is take some time tonight and read through this. I'm not going to make you do it right now, since I'm recording this and since we only have 30 minutes on a breakout. But basically, you just need to be familiar with some of the terms, like flex container, which is a parent element. You can name it whatever you want, and then flex items, so that when you're looking at this thing, you know that on the left-hand side, you've got the parent, and on the right-hand side, you've got the children. Parent always needs to have the display of flex. That's going to say, hey, we're using Flexbox.
Here it is.
Howdy, you found it. We don't have a TV, so come
You're gonna have
in
to get a little cozy.
yeah, we gotta get cozy. And we're just starting. So I slacked out CSS tricks Flexbox earlier when we were all in our own lessons. So go ahead and find that, and I would suggest bookmarking it. It's like the Flexbox Bible. So if you've got display flex on your main holder for all of your HTML, then you can also add other things to change how the other elements act, like flex direction. We'll put items in a row or put items in a column. So we're going to dive into the actual demo. I'm recording this, so I'll slack it out when it uploads, and if you're like, I didn't get to really see that because the screen was too far, you can go back to it pretty easily. So I am starting on a blank terminal, and what I am going to do is I don't have anything in my directory. I'm just going to start with HTML. Convention, it's really hard to type sideways. Wow.
Yeah, it is. I've had to do that.
Don't let CJ see your wrist deviation.
I know, right? Don't tell. Oh, I did a bad. It's okay. Okay, I'm just going to pull this towards me so that I can do this for a second.
Don't worry about it.
There we go. All right, so now I've got my index HTML. I'm just going to build my quick skeleton of my HTML in Atom. For the sake of time, I'm going to use a shortcut to generate my basic skeleton. Oh, it wanted to do this anyways. I don't have any of that in here. That's a lie. I just have this. No, it's doing it automatically. Okay, so I'll just, the quick way is just to type in HTML and hit enter or tab. It actually really helps to learn to type it out and memorize it. Here's why. If you're working on somebody else's computer and they don't have Atom, or they've got something else, or your computer dies and you have to use a different computer. It's going to be real embarrassing if you you're like, I'm going to make an HTML page, and then you're like, I don't know how to do that. So for reference, that's a good thing to do. Okay, I want to make a page layout with 3 columns because it's pretty popular. We're all cozy. We're all cozy. Come on in. If you can't see anything while I'm doing it, don't panic.
She's recording it.
I'm recording it. So it's really popular to have the 3 columns in a website. It might be dying out because, styles change. But the Holy Grail layout, for example, which is considered one of the most popular layouts, it uses 3
columns.
3 columns. And it's part of the exercises you have. Oh, Holy Grail is not going to come CSS.
Monty Python.
Yeah, right? That's probably what it came out. So this is a good example of the Holy Grail layout. It has a header. It has a footer. And then it's got these 3 columns, a navigation column where you would put your links to get to other pages, the big content column, and then usually advertisements on the side. And like I said, this is probably dying out, but we're going to do it anyways, and we're going to do it in a different way. We're going to have all of our columns be the same size because that's kind of a newer style. Go back. Okay, so to do that, I am going to put a semantic tag of main because this is going to be where all of my content is, and I like to do that. All of the semantic stuff is kind of up for debate, so if you're like, oh, I would rather do different types of things, as long as you can justify why you're doing that, that's fine. Inside my main, I want a section because I'm going to have other content going on besides my columns later, but for now...
You mentioned a shortcut here?
Yeah.
Just in case you don't know about. It's like you don't have to do the greater than less than. If you just type the name and tab, it'll.
Oh, I love it. Let's do it.
So yeah, delete the. Oh yeah, just tab and tab.
Kills it. That's amazing. Thank you. I actually did not know that. That would have saved me.
I discovered by accident one time. I was like, oh, this is what I want.
That would probably have saved me 5 years in the last 6 months time.
Just
5 years time in the last 6
tab,
months.
and so it does the opening and the closing thing for you.
So I don't need 3 sections, but I just really wanted to see how that worked. I just need 1, but I do need 3 articles. So let's try it on article tab, and it does it, and it gives us a class, which is great. I need 3 of these because I'm having 3 columns. 3 columns. Boom. Okay, we're going to leave the class empty for now. Because I know what I'm building, and I've already seen the wireframe, I know that I also need an image, and I also need some text. So I'm going to go ahead and oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's try it on image. Yep. And I'm going to go ahead and pop that into each article. This is for our columns. And then I know that I want some text, so I'm just going to do a p tag, and I want that on each thing as well. And it's a little messy right now. For the sake of speed, I'm not going to beautify it. Right now, if I were to show you this on a web page, it would be blank because there's nothing there. So I'm going to go ahead and make my style sheet. I'm going to put it in a file called style sheets. This is kind of just best practice. You might have multiple style sheets. I've only done it once, and it was by accident when I was new to coding, but who knows? You never know. You also might have fonts that you can put in there. If you download a font, you can just put it in your styles stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and name it main CSS. You can name it what you want. Before I write my CSS, it's important that I put it in here. Would a volunteer like to tell me where I need to link my CSS?
At the very top, in the head.
In the head, exactly. And since there's only...
row.
Exactly.
Oh, same thing here. Go ahead, backspace, type link, and then tab. And then so all you need to do is in the href.
That is so fabulous. Style sheets and then main. Oh my gosh. Sorry, that was... Okay. The way I like to test if it's up and running is HTML and then background color black, because that will be pretty obvious. Once again, I'm so sorry I'm typing sideways. What I'm about to do, you might not have installed on your computer. We might talk about it at a later date, so don't feel like you need to do this right this second. I'm going to open this. here, and it's black, so we know that it's linked up. If it wasn't linked up, I would check the path. I would check, sometimes we accidentally put source here instead of href. You can debug all of that on your own. We did that earlier. Okay, so we've got our main CSS. I know that I want my whole body to be flexbox, and by reading that CSS tricks thing, which you can read tonight, so don't panic, and you can watch this video again tonight, I need my display to be flex. Cool. And that's all I'm going to do there. Let me open this so that I don't lead you astray. Wrote down what I made last night. Okay, so then I know that I want my section tag that I made, which is this guy, to have a class. And I like to target things by class. You might be into IDs or just by elements. I like classes. That's just my thing. I'm going to select the... sorry.
No, it's all right. I've been sitting all day anyway.
I'm going to call it columns because it's holding columns. You could call it container. You could call it holder. You could call it aardvark for all I care. As long as you know what it matches to. And I like to say what it's holding, and then the things it's holding have the singular name. That's my style. So I'm going to create the class columns in here. And this one needs to have the flex direction of row. And I'm going to see, we'll start there. Then I know that my articles also need a class, and I'm going to name them column because they're going to be my singular column. So one column and then a second column. Oh, I need to spell column. And then a third column. And so in my CSS, let's make that guy. I am doing all of my CSS properties based on what I read in that CSS tricks. Literally not using any other knowledge than in that. And so, like I said, read that tonight. I'm going to change the background color to gray so that we can actually see it. That is not necessary for Flexbox. I'm going to make the height 100% so that when we put stuff in there, it just fits the stuff that's in there. I'm using percentages here so that it's responsive. If I use an actual point or if I use pixels, it's going to do those exact size forever.
Can you do like auto? Like, is that something that's synonymous with percentage?
You know, I'm not sure. I'd have to Google it. So you can definitely use auto. I just don't know if it's synonymous. But yeah, that'd be a good thing to Google, and I would love to know what you find out.
Whack it out to her when you do.
Yeah, that'd be great. Direct message me though. Then I'm gonna make margin 1% because I want to be able to see in between the articles. If I don't put a margin, they're all gonna bleed into each other. And then padding for the same reason, kind of. So there's gonna be text in there, and I don't want the text to be like right up against the edge. And I hope I don't have those backwards. Sometimes I mix them up. Cool, and then I know that I'm going to have an image as well, and I have already decided that I'm calling it column image because I might have other images, and I wouldn't want to target them with this, just the images that are in the columns. And so for those ones, I'm actually just going to start with a margin of 3%, so that they have some spacing around them, and then I'll tell you what else we're going to do in just a second. I have some text that we're going to use. It's just Filorama, which is generated text from the script of Futurama, which I love dearly. So I'm going to pop that in all of these. And then we're going to check out what it's looking like based on only the things that I've done so far. So I have my server up and my screen is black, but that should change. Yeah. So right now I've got rows, one row, 2 row, 3 rows instead of columns. So first we'll have to figure out why, and I think I know why. In this flex direction row, we need to also specify that this display is flex because technically this is a parent container as well. So this body part is just kind of for everything that goes in the body, and then this is a parent container for our columns. So that should fix it. Right? Fancy, huh? It's so fast. That's all the code I needed for that, and that's why we use Flexbox. But sometimes you're going to need to mix things. And in our objective, remember, it said we need to use floats. And we will use a float. And I have not figured out a way to do this in Flexbox, what I'm about to do. So you can use a float. But I have chosen a picture. This is from a filler image site of Bill Murray. And I'm not going to worry about the alternate to the image. We're just going to focus on the source. And let's look at it now. So we've got the text underneath Bill Murray, and that would be fine. But I think aesthetically, if we've had this text go around the image, that would make more sense to me. That's more like a magazine article or a
newspaper article or something like that.
So this is where floats come in. On our main CSS, on our column image, that's what we want to select. We're going to give it a float, and we could give it a float right, we could give it a float left. I'm going to give it left because I like it. I want it to be on the left. You might have different opinions.
When you say float, you want the image to be on the left, not the okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could try it with the other things, but I just want the image, and the text is going to react and fill in to that. If I like use Flexbox and I do like flex or align self is the way to like the property there, and I said like flex start, which would push it to the left, the text won't respond. It'll push to the left, but the text will stay where it is. Unsure why. I guess that's just the way it works. But that's okay because floats can solve our problem. Hopefully when I refresh, it didn't do it. Let's see why.
Did you save?
I have autosave, but actually I think sometimes I didn't give the, does anybody know what I did? I just
give it a class.
Yes, exactly. I didn't give the images a class. They need that class. I guess I forgot to do that earlier.
I believe we call it column images.
Thank you.
Something similar.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. That'll solve our problem. Thanks for being such a great audience. I'm going to be asking some questions in a little bit. Just a heads up. Cool.
There
and then
we
it did it. And it's got a little bit of padding in there because we specified that. And now they look normal. Here's what makes it responsive. And disclaimer, I did not make the images responsive. You guys can look up how to do that in a minute. When I shrink this down, they adjust. I still have the padding in between. I still have space around them. They're just going to keep going until I hit the image. And then the images are going to mess up because they're not responsive. But everything else works. And so that's what we mean by Flexbox allows you to be responsive. Is I can make my screen super small and it's still got the padding and the margins that I specified. And the text is mostly readable. On the flip side, if I get super big, let's see, it's just going to keep adjusting as well. Cool. So if we go back to our success criteria here, I used Flexbox for that. I used floats, and I used percentage-based width, heights, and such as well. And so that makes my whole thing responsive. You can do responsiveness with other things too. We just haven't covered it yet, like media queries, or you can do it with JavaScript as well. It's pretty cool. But we're not going to cover that for a while. And let's get back here. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to double check with you is, would somebody give me just kind of a brief overview of what Flexbox is? And I will take a raised hand. Just take a couple seconds to think about it. What is Flexbox at all? Okay, go for it.
It's a different way of organizing sections of a document.
Cool. So in case that wasn't clear on the video, Matt said different way of organizing a grid on a document?
Yeah, like sections.
Sections on a document. Yeah.
Divs, like whatever.
Yeah.
Just little chunks of a document, being able to put them in different orders with ease instead of having to like think about how to float and unfloat.
Exactly. What I like there is that you said it's with ease, and I would use the term HTML elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that's exactly right. So how did I make my well, I almost just gave it away. Well,
Made your display flex.
I make my display flex. Exactly. Thank you. Like, oops, I just gave it away. But yeah, exactly. And then how did I get, you can think about it, and then I'll take a hand. How did I get my text to flow around my image?
The
Float.
Oh yeah, definitely. We shouted out. That's okay. But the float, awesome. So I'm using Flexbox in conjunction with the things I had already known how to do, and that is totally fine to do. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover with us.
So basically with the Flex and everything, it kind of really takes the scroll bar out of the browser and everything, because with all of that, it seems to basically take all that and, scrunch it in either way if you start to resize the browser and everything and reformats.
That's a good point for for horizontal scrolling, definitely.
Yeah.
Unless you want that to be working for some reason, you can specify.
You're nuts.
Right? But you can still continue to add stuff down, and it will still scroll up and down.
Okay, yeah. So basically it affects it horizontally, but
Yeah.
not vertically.
Can you set limits like a min width or something?
Let's do it. So on our main, let's say we put a minimum width on our section that has the class of columns. So this guy, I don't know, let's try just doing min or max, let's say a max width, just to kind of see how it works of 50%. I imagine that this will crunch everything down, but let's try it to test. It didn't actually. I'm unsure why. Oh, hello. That's huge. That is an unrelated error. I don't have a favicon. Let's try just setting the regular width. You can definitely... doesn't want to do it. Maybe if we do a min width on our body. Let's try it. It's not responding to any of that. What I would do is oh, maybe I did that wrong. Max. What I would do, there we go. What I would do is for anything that you're like, will this work? Just try it. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is it doesn't work, or it looks horrible. You can always fix it. And to be completely honest, that's the best way to learn most of this stuff, is just trying it out. I'm still trying it out because there's so much stuff in CSS. Animations and crazy shadow properties and all sorts of crazy stuff. So trying it out, seeing if it works is the best way to go. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of an introduction. I've slacked out the CSS tricks. If you didn't get it, I think most of these people have heard me say that about 9 times, approximately. But it's super important. And then I'll upload this video onto YouTube and slack it out in a little bit. If you want to view it again, you are totally welcome to. And if you want to follow along with me to get some practice, you can do that. So yeah, cool. Any other questions?
Can you nest flex boxes in other flex boxes?
Well, I kind of did that. Because I made the body display flex, and then I made the columns display flex. I'm pretty sure if I don't do the body at all, this will look normal. Yeah. But I just do that out of habit because I might have other things that I want to be flexed inside the body that I'm not targeting with something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah. Anything else? Sounds like a lot. Don't worry. You don't have to know this immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's good.
Just for practice.
Yes, thank you.